push those guys or not?
Only from the previous weekend.
Okay, well, but the funny thing is there's did you
No.
need a Bruce branch?
Bruce is the one I was tied up with.
Okay, because the last time I went, I didn't recognize, I knew Bruce Branch, but I knew him as a banker. You know, a trust attorney and then now he's got this.
He's all,
Yep. So I was like, that's certainly not the Branch I know. But yeah.
our kids are like best friend, like.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Great school.
So I mean, I've just known him through Arvis, but I've never had anything against him or whatever. Now he's hard, I guess.
Good guy.
Yes.
All right, Lorraine, are you all ready? Move.
Good.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started this evening with the City of Centerton Planning Commission, August 19th, 2025, with a roll call.
Jeff Seifarth,
I'm here.
Jeff Seifarth.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Sorry.
He's loud.
Joey Engel,
Here.
Tony Davis, Craig Langford,
Here.
Ben Lewis, Devin Murphy, Curtis Ramsey, John Sessoms,
Here.
Brandon Swoboda.
Here.
I guess the air conditioning is a little loud this evening, so I'll try to speak up a little more. First thing on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from our meeting from August 5th.
It's John, a motion to approve the minutes from August 5th. Second, Craig.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, next thing on the agenda this evening under the new business is Development 2504 Goodwill. This is a waiver request for 15.08.05B, 10-foot landscaped area, and 15.05.05D parking location. The location for the building is 1218 West Centerton Boulevard. It is zoned C2 and it's 2.558 acres. Is the applicant here to give us an overview of what you guys are requesting?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Cody Sexton with Balloon Associates. We've got two waivers that we're looking at here. The issue with the landscaping. Aaron, feel free to jump in if I'm. Issue with the landscaping, is having it along, where we have a position along the front, but with.
Just Cody, I don't think the mic's working.
It's on.
All right. So the AC is.
No, the AC was not on today during court, so it's gonna run.
Yeah, we don't care. I mean,
By the hour.
hazard pay or? Geez.
So it was good for us.
All right, sorry about that. I was good to hear you.
Put a little more breath behind it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The challenge with the landscaping buffer area is that along the front of the property, we've got the utility corridor in there that eats up a lot of. If that wasn't there, that would be landscape area, and then we just keep pushing the property back because we're at the utilities. And when we get to the back of the property, we're getting in the floodplain. So as we just keep shoving the property back, we just don't have enough room by the time we get the floodplain there to keep going. So make an adjustment to the landscaping position is just the easy solution all around going forward for this part. The second variance for the parking, we've got a handful of challenges also with this property. Given the proximity to the intersection as far as pushing back the location of our driveway, where that's going to be acceptable because we can't have it too close to the intersection. We also have to mind the placement of the trucks, large trucks coming into the property, so that's dictating our building layout, so we don't want the trucks coming in and having to wrap all the way around to the parking traffic. So by the time we factored in about 5 different aspects of the criteria, our most logical approach on that one again is just those parking requirements as it pertains to how much of the parking we have in front. And we have gone through multiple permutations of trying to massage the site, and that course of action would be.
All right. Tara, would you like to give us a staff overview?
Yes. Can you hear me or do I need to put the mic to me?
Probably need to.
Can you hear me now?
Diaphragm.
Okay, so this is Goodwill Centerton. This is specifically their waiver request for the landscape area requirements along the frontage and the parking location, being in the front of the building instead of on the side of the building. So the subject parcel is located at 1218 West Centerton Boulevard. To the south across West Centerton Boulevard is Domino's Pizza and the US Post Office. And directly adjacent to the east is the Woodcrest Walk subdivision. The proposed project that includes the development is a construction of a 17,166 square foot building combining retail and warehouse space. Thank goodness. The building design incorporates a truck docking area with direct access to the warehouse area. The applicant has also submitted a concurrent large-scale development application, which is Development 2504, which is pending approval and contingent upon the decision of the waiver requests. The zoning for this specific property is C2, which is the Highway Commercial District, and the building setbacks are in your packet for you. The property naturally slopes downward to the north and northeast. After development, rainwater will drain across the site into the parking lot, where it will enter an underground drainage stormwater system and flow back to the rear of the lot. Drainage is still under review by staff. The subject property does contain mapped floodway zone AE and zone X. Zone X floodplain on the north side of the lot. The floodway was established with Lomer 2406-1386P with Woodcrest Walk. Centerton Utilities, Water and Sewer, and Franchise Utilities Gas are existing along West Centerton Boulevard. Water, sewer, and franchise utility lines are to be relocated with the widening of West Centerton Boulevard. And the following below shows the utility lines that are being relocated. With the adjacent street agreement, West Centerton Boulevard has an existing right-of-way of 40 feet with an additional 13 to 19 feet of right-of-way to be acquired by RDOT with the improvement project job 090238. With the large-scale development, a 10-foot sidewalk will be constructed or a fee in lieu will be provided. The large-scale development will include two entrances, will include a new entrance from West Centerton Boulevard and will align with Monroe Street right across the street from them. 24-foot access easements will be provided along the east side of the property, which kind of just gives Woodcrest commercial lots the opportunity to tie in into two different spaces for them. And then 24-foot access easement along the west side of the property to allow for the adjoining commercial properties to make a shared connection. So for parking, per Title 140405F, this development will be required to provide one parking space per 200 square feet of retail space, one per 500 square feet of warehouse space. The engineer was requested to provide square footage for the warehouse space, so to update the parking calculations, but at this time, their parking meets the 1 per 200 square feet with 86 parking spaces. Now we'll get into the waiver request specifically pertaining to the parking. The applicant is requesting a waiver to the Title 15 requirement found in section 150505D. That reads that no more than 50% of the off-street parking area for the entire property shall be located between the front facade of the principal building and the primary abutting street unless the principal building and or parking lots are screened from view by out-of-lot development and additional tree plantings or berms. The site constraints per the applicant is the steep slope and the drop off to the north, the floodplain and floodway in the rear of the lot, the 50-foot front setback from West Centerton Boulevard expansion right-of-way, and the required driveway alignment with Monroe Street per city request, which is also a Title IX requirement as well. Justification per the applicant believes the layout will not harm public safety, neighboring properties, or conflict with the city's comprehensive plan, and that site conditions make strict compliance impractical. For the staff findings, while a portion of the property is located within the floodplain and floodway, staff recommends just PC to consider that an alternate site layout could be possible and the building to the positions outside of these areas. Such layouts could also reduce or eliminate the need for more than 50% of parking to be located in the front of the building. Lighting, the large-scale development proposes adequate lighting within the parking lot. If the RDOT Highway 102 expansion does not include frontage lighting, the development will be required to install lighting along its Highway 102 frontage. For the landscaping, the applicant is proposing landscaping throughout the development, including interior plants within the parking areas and landscape buffers. For the actual waiver request for the landscaping, the applicant is requesting a waiver for the Title 15 requirement found in 150805B. A minimum of a 10-foot wide landscaped area shall be provided along the front property line between the front building face and the roadway. When adjacent to a public road, this area shall be exclusive of and adjacent to the master street plan right of way. Further, the landscape may not also contain utility easements within. So right now they're proposing a reduction of the 10-foot landscaped area to an 8-foot landscaped area only in the areas overlapping within the utility easements. Site constraints per the applicant, utility easements associated with the Arkansas Highway 102 right-of-way acquisition extended to the required buffer area, and the floodway on the north side of the property prevents moving the building north without triggering additional floodplain requirements. Justification per the applicant, reduction avoids conflict with the utility easements while maintaining a functional buffer. Applicant asserts the reduction will not negatively impact public health, safety, or neighboring properties, and is consistent with orderly development and the city's comprehensive plan. Special circumstances, including the floodplain and right-of-way utility easements, make strict 10-foot buffer unreasonable in this situation. For staff findings, staff finds that the request to reduce the required landscape buffer from 10 feet to 8 feet is reasonable given the unique site constraints. Utility easements associated with the roadway expansion do limit the available space along the frontage, and the building cannot be shifted further back on the property due to the floodplain and floodway. Per Title 150113D, this is specifically pertaining to waivers and all waivers. The Planning Commission has the opportunity to prescribe any conditions that they deem necessary or desirable in the public interest. And then there's a section in there that kind of just breaks down for PC consideration, which pulls it directly from the code. How you can classify a waiver, what to look for, things of that nature, since this is our first one for our new Title 15. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know.
Does I don't look because I'm just trying to get in and out of the post office when I go up there. Is the topography such that a shared access is even feasible between the eastern property?
Yes and no.
That doesn't help out.
So there's a good bit of fall east to west from their property to the property to them to the west. They're putting a retaining wall because of the drop there. And then this is on the east side where it touches into Woodcrest Walk where those access easements are going to be located. There's another few foot drop there, so you can, but then your drive has to account for that slope going down. So if they take that access, have their drive coming in, it's not gonna be right there and be able to put a aisle going north-south, but you can do that with the slope and make it through there.
So they're just putting this specific development, since they're the first ones to go in, are just accounting for the access easements. The commercial lots on either side will account to connect to those access easements to make the commercial connections for them.
How's there gonna be a connection on the west side with a wall and a row of parking?
There isn't one,
Right.
Well,
but they could have their own drive and meet the separation requirements.
It's going to be more difficult to put one on the west side than it would on the east side. And those lots right now on the east side are not built up to the elevation that they're supposed to be.
They're a lot shallower, right?
They're all in depth, yes.
But we did speak with the engineer and did discuss the possibility of just adding an access easement to the west side. If whoever develops to the west side can connect to them, then it can be just discussed further, but just at least providing the access easement gives them the opportunity to have commercial connection. So they're not doing any road connections or stub outs. They're just providing that easement so that future someone could come in.
No, there's not even a spot for a stub, it's all parking.
The difference is though, with the east, you couldn't meet the driveway separation requirements with Monroe Street. Where on the west, you can meet your separation requirements to put
I
another.
understand, y'all are saying two different things though, you're saying there's gonna be a connection, you're saying. Connection, alright?
Not with the retaining wall.
That's good.
So you're saying provide the easement for it, but then the easement is a retaining wall in the easement, right?
So the easements are on the east side, she said, 224.
She said both.
We can move on from the west one. That can be changed in development. It's not much to do with the waiver at this time.
So is on the Woodcrest, is there a shared easement on the front of that would line up or not? How'd they,
There is one
In the rear.
right about here. Looks right.
so that
It's
doesn't,
right again, right along, I know, we don't have that.
I guess I'm just asking, is it worth trying to make this thing fit if it's not viable?
Be across here. Oh, thing is,
So that doesn't really seem feasible to me to even consider one over there. I'm just asking.
They
added
added,
one on the east side.
yeah, we have them putting in two separate locations for access easements, and it'll be up to the Woodcrest Walk commercial site to make the connection where they seem to be feasible. So they have two different 24-foot access easements where the rear lot access easement can come down and connect, or it can connect a little bit higher.
And then all of that along the Woodcrest Walk, there's a big utility easement angling through there with the sewer. So whether the access easement goes along the south side of the detention pond, so it's at the rear of the lot. So if that ends up, if they bring that around, then they can still connect in the front, whichever way works best on that when they develop. That they would have two places to tie into.
You said there's a retaining wall going in on the east.
West.
It's down there, okay.
Yeah. We shouldn't use the word west anymore.
We're not talking about that side.
We should focus on the east side.
You wanna look at these one by one? Jeff?
Yeah, so let's start with what's labeled as current site layout. Does that work? Can we start with that one?
The one for the landscape.
Is the first waiver is for the parking in front, right?
First way, like the
I didn't.
concept,
Yeah, the first waiver is for
yeah, the.
parking
it-
in the,
They're under the same, yeah, they're under the same, just waiver, whichever one you wanna talk about first, it doesn't matter. But there's the landscaped area and then the parking location.
let's do parking first.
Cody, what's in all of these? I don't see any site plan that puts the building up front. Is there an issue with that? If we're looking at this one, if you rotate the building 180 and tuck it in the southwest corner, can you not keep the driveway where it's at and then eliminate the need for this waiver?
I think
And all the parking east of that, Joy.
North? Yeah, north and
North
east.
and east.
issues with that is, and we start getting into the truck having to come all the way through the properties, that's the case there.
I think you guys were talking about site one, concept number one.
No,
Talk about this one right here.
What are you saying?
we haven't gone to your,
About this one?
we haven't gone to the alternatives yet.
So, but you just talked about proposing the building in the southwest corner to eliminate the waiver, right?
Flipping it, yeah.
It would be down in the.
So can we look at the previous, yeah, so. Is that what you're talking about?
No, you flip it another 90 degrees counterclockwise and tuck it in the bottom corner.
So the back of the building is right up against the frontage of Centerton Boulevard.
Yeah, and the driveway would be on the east line up with Monroe. Cause does this
Going to move.
Right.
We've got to line it up with Monroe.
does this eliminate, as far as the building on the frontage, what are the requirements?
And we encourage it, just it keeps the,
Yeah.
it's still having like a landscape buffer and things of that nature, but I mean, we encourage the building to be along the frontage, either being the front part of the building or the rear part of the building. So let me find it.
And with moving it to the front, then we would need to look at a reduced building setback. Which that's kind of what we're planning, what we're trying to go to along our corridor.
Yeah, and that would make sense, especially with the grade and floodplain stuff to the north.
You have a copy of the grading plan? I know the one thing that you talked about is that.
Sorry, that was
in
my
the
fault.
Southwest corner where you're at. I don't know the exact number, but I'm gonna assume it's about a 7 or 8 foot drop from the sidewalk to the parking lot.
Mhm.
And it's getting less as you go east, where I think it's like 5. I'm not certain though. I think she's pulling one up.
Gotta connect to the VPN.
Sorry.
My bad.
Excuse me. You asked what limitations there were. I know that was one of the big ones is it changed the retaining wall either going around. I'm not sure what that does for access going around.
The high corner is in the southwest corner.
It's pretty
So
high.
if they move the building there, then everything's it's sloped down from there, but.
Or they gotta build
I don't know what you're looking for.
or they gotta build the whole thing. Put a retaining wall around the back. And a lot of fill in.
Really, my question on the building location is. One, what specifically the code says. Which is no more than 50% of the off-street parking area for the entire property shall be located between the front facade. And the primary abutting street, unless unless it's screened. I think that would solve that problem.
Unless it's screened.
Does your concept one,
So it has to be, I will preference this because it kind of confused me too. It has to have a building in front of it and it has to be screened. It's not and or. So it has to be, they have to have a building in front of it and it has to be properly screened. So it can't be like, well, if they screened it beautifully, that would work. it has to be both.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How much of the space is warehouse?
I got that, it's gonna be, 7,860. That would be warehouse, and then retail would be 9,300, so that would bring down the parking count to 63. So right now, we're showing it at 86, so that's where we could potentially remove those spaces on the left side. We just haven't been able to do that because we're trying to get this through first.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know you have to have the warehouse space in order to process everything you're doing. But, you know, according to this, the parking was for one for every 200, there wasn't. For 500, so I do think that's how you reduce the parking space issue. If you reduce the parking space issue, doesn't that? Does it solve somewhat the landscape issue?
It may solve, that. I haven't created a new concept for that, but
How many space? I mean, I didn't count.
How many spaces do they currently have?
Along the frontage?
86
6 perfect.
total.
Along the.
As for the amount
On the
of
frontage, 'cause it's-
building road, I'm not sure.
It says no more than 50% in the front, right? So how much of that's in front?
So there's 18.
There's 18.
18 up front, and what was the number? I didn't write it down, I'm sorry. I would,
There's 86 total.
86, 63.
64.
That seems like that would solve our issue. Remove the parking spaces up front. We have even more landscaping. What would be the?
I think mathematically, I think you're still too many in the
I
front.
think that you're still over 50% in front of the building.
We're not really close to 50%. We're way over.
Yeah, I don't think it's the number of parking, it's the number of parking in the front.
But I think it does solve the other
Let's
situation.
solve the landscape issue. Y'all don't like concept one just because the truck needs to come through the site to get there?
This way the box trucks can just go in and they're not affecting the circulation of staff or employees or guests. So.
I don't know that we can use that as justification for a waiver.
I think it's concept one more complex on the grading.
Concept number
Transit
one
on the-
forces the building to be up high and then forces the entire rest of the site to have, adequate grades, not super steep grades. It forces a retaining wall to be built. And we don't have a grading plan of concept one, but we do show a retaining wall.
So we'd be grading and filling considerably as opposed to cutting and just opening the edge properly.
With concept one.
Correct.
So we're on. So I just quick clarifying question on the 50% parking up front. Is that towards the main street or is the front of the building?
More than
Yeah, but-
50% of the parking that's in front facade near the closest road. It's like,
Along Highway 1 and 2.
So if they put the back or the side, creates a little bit different because there's no road in front of it at that point.
Yeah.
So then they have to use one of,
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, like concept one does meet that.
But the driveway, what I guess I'm thinking,
The driveway has to get moved to the
has to be moved.
east.
Has to be adjusted.
the problem is there are two concepts, put the entrance in the middle of the two across from them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't line up.
Doesn't line up with.
If you go up concept two, I know you're looking at one, but concept two shows like the driveway in that northeast corner. But the driveway in the middle. When you align the drives for your driveway separation, the fire trucks can't make that turn, so then you're losing your access.
Yeah. So
But that's why.
again, kind of back to the. I'm not an engineer. I'm just. Playing with this, like, I don't understand how concept one. Didn't somebody already say this, the drive couldn't be put back? To its original location in concept one, since we're getting rid of parking spaces anyway? And maintain the.
The drive has to go on the east property line, so we're on one, it's gotta go where it's shown on the current layout for the drive entrance. To allow with Monroe, otherwise it doesn't meet separation requirements with all the drives and you're gonna create a.
See it, okay, I'm sorry.
I know, it's a little hard to see because it's not labeled.
Yeah, that's where I'm missing it too.
Maybe we're not being clear. Concept one, if you take that and move the driveway back to the east, why doesn't that work?
The trucks have to go all the way through the parking area for everyone in order to get over to the truck dock in the back.
Well, could you mirror the building where the truck dock's in front?
But we're gonna have a truck dock with the front facade.
You're gonna have to screen it really good. We're just trying to help.
Doesn't have to go.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, we can't use a box truck having to go through your site as a justification for a waiver.
Say it's a box truck, not a tractor
Yeah.
trailer, right?
It's,
Still a truck.
It's not an 18-wheeler, it's a box truck. I've driven I ran Habitat for Humanity. I've driven a box truck a lot. We didn't have hardly any backup space or anything like that. This is an awful lot for a box truck, in my opinion. But
So
that's based on experience.
what if you take this layout, you move the drive to the east, and off of that, you have two separate entrances into the site per se. You have one at the north where the box truck can go, maneuver, get out, and then you have another way for people to enter on the south side to get to the parking. That would consolidate all of the truck stuff to the north.
Are you talking about two accesses to the highway, or are you talking about?
Two accesses into your site. You make a little median, a little grass strip, maybe curbed, and you have one down on the south for, citizens coming to park in the parking lot. You have one further up north for a box truck to come in, turn around and back up.
So it's one driveway, but then two entrances? Cause I'm pretty sure, okay, I'm just thinking curb cut separation, I'm not sure.
That's not on a highway though, so your curb cuts can be wherever.
The way your entrance looks on the current site layout is kind of what he's referencing. Well, there's kind of this main strip. Then there's
Same thing.
yeah. So you have that main strip that goes north-south, and then you just have an inlet there for the parking, and then the trucks go on around.
So
Just turning that a little bit.
I do have a question. Will the, just for reference on the box truck, will it have to turn around in the parking lot?
It's my understanding that the box truck will come up that drive, turn, and then back up into the truck dock area.
Come back out.
Yeah. And it comes straight back out.
Yes, that's,
Which even if you turn the building, they can come in a different way and back up, right? I mean.
The least amount of backing ups, the better, obviously.
So, in concept, if you put the driveway back up. You put the driveway back up to its original location. Entrance to its original location in concept form. You're gonna lose one spaces and you would have to drive through the parking lot where it could get.
driveway where concept one is, I mean, the city is dictating us what is off from in Buck Street. Well,
Why can't you put the?
because
It won't meet your separation requirements. The great,
I got confused that.
Yeah, now I'm really.
In the current site layout, where the driveway is.
is where it has to be.
Yes.
That's what Brandon's saying.
And that is, and I'm saying in concept one, why could we not go back to that?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Is you'll lose 20 spots, which we said you could reasonably do at this point. The only challenge is you're now driving a box truck through the parking lot with spaces. That you were trying to, I guess, shield yourself from anyway, but people are gonna be driving in and out anyway. Why would that not solve the problem? I guess now we're back to the landscape problem, so we'd have to give up 2 feet because they're not gonna be able to get rid of more spaces up front.
What's,
Am I right? Am I thinking clearly on that or
I mean, some of the things they brought up were the grading issues too, that they have to look at.
grading issues?
once RDOT comes through and obtains their new right of way, what's the width from the edge of their right of way to the edge of the landscape?
I don't know.
What's left for utility?
Well, the right of way varies.
Yeah, the right of way varies from like 13 feet to 19 feet. But all of the utility easements that are needed outside of the right of way are already, they're listed on there, so that's.
For 13 to 19, is that from the edge of pavement or is that center line?
Center line.
The
Well, no,
main-
it's from the existing right of way. It's 13 to 19 feet from the existing right of way.
The real area where they can't, where it's gonna be difficult to meet it is in this southwest corner. The rest, 10 feet works. It's just in this one corner that we have a sewer line easement that's impacting it. But
I think we could.
But I think we could work with that, and then they've got this big island that they can, landscape. But they haven't, I don't believe they show that landscape right now. But. Then. For sure. And here's the actual location of. Is the water line, it's a water line that goes in there. So, and there's the edge of the easement.
I'm just wondering how wide it'll end up being, because once they widen 102.
She just said the easements that are in place are sufficient for the widening.
They already have
This is
construction.
supposed to show where the lines are going, is what I understand. Here's the 10 foot sidewalk comes by RDOT, and then these are the gas.
Okay, that's proposed relocation.
That's what I understand.
The sidewalk is per the master street plan. It's not.
Yeah, it would
These
be,
plans do not have the RDOT plans incorporated into them?
no, the
Dot plans don't show sidewalk.
sidewalk
Okay.
they're doing. Or-
But that's the right of way from the RDOT plans?
Sorry, we're okay.
Big dark line just north of the sidewalk, I think. It's the right of way.
Right of way.
Okay.
I think it's this line right across.
Sanitary.
That's the.
This is darker line. It's hard to see on this plan.
So the gas and sewer are gonna be in the.
It jogs up and
And then it hides in that.
They'll be all north of the right of way.
Right across there.
I mean, these easements are called out as like they're there.
Right, but I'm just wanting to make sure that when RDOT gets their additional right of way, that it's not overlapping on top of those where you can't access them.
This is supposed to,
Dark dash line north of the sidewalk, I believe, is the RDOT right of way.
It's per a job number. They have that set in stone of what it's going to acquire.
So I think from that standpoint.
It's still what the width, I mean, it's easy to put a line on
it's a
it.
variable width.
53 to 59 from the center line. So it's a variable width, but the lowest point is about 53 feet from the center line and about 59 feet from the center line.
The utilities are being shown outside of the right of way.
Right, but depending on what size those lines are, there may not even be enough room in there to get your separation.
I don't think they're moving. I think they're just staying where they're at.
Well, it's a 12-inch water main and our code is,
You have to have between the water and sewer.
let me look for it.
The right of way was drawn in for the Black Hills Energy plans, for the proposed easements for the. The water line was drawn from ESI plans west from Centerton, and not sure, I don't think the.
So that does show relocated utility, but that's the end of the day, that's what it's gonna. Per plan right at this point in time. Alright.
Sure, it could change, I mean.
Sure. Hold up.
Can we go, I'm gonna try to keep us a little on track here. Can we go back to the original concept?
It's concept one.
Nope.
Side of the house.
So. So
One more.
in the current site layout, option one or option two. You gotta get the 31 spaces. Up front.
Even with this, even if you take parking spots away, it's not gonna matter because you're
Still got 50%.
still over the 50%
The
rule.
building's gotta come forward.
So either the building has to move or
Yeah, if the building comes forward. Taking up those 7 spaces up front. Then to the back of the building,
I wish we had the grading plan. It
does that work? Because
goes off.
so the grade is the
I
back.
thought we do have the grading.
We pulled it up, we just didn't spend any time on it, sorry.
And we're right at the edge of the floodplain.
There's the floodplain right there.
Parking spaces in a floodplain, that's an issue?
Sure.
Any fill and they're
I see. Okay,
a good number if you're not sure how high up it is, but
yeah, that makes sense.
they're showing that retaining wall wrapping around those back parking spots and tying into the building.
Drive by, if you flip the building right there. Move down closer to the corner. You start picking up your percentage on your parking stalls because it's moving down. And that fixes it. You put islands along the east side. Where you want them to turn in. And that solves your problem.
So you want the truck dock closest to the road?
Nope.
North side.
Either way, I really don't care. You can take that, rotate it counterclockwise, 90 degrees. Truck dock would be
North
pointed
side.
to the north. And then you can route your traffic along that same driveway. And control the typical customers with these like these nuts between these islands for parking. And the truck can go straight to the back, go left. And maneuver into the truck dock. Yeah, basically that, but with the road on the east side.
So you all brought up the connection. Access easements. If we do this. It's going to make that even harder. By forcing the grade to be up high. This concept forces the grade to be really, really high and build a retaining wall around the east side, which we don't have right now. So that would make it really hard to connect to Woodcrest. It would also make the contractor spend a lot of money and owner to build this kind of site. So yeah, I think
You cut it?
connection easier, but as for the east, it would make it much harder.
Why can't you cut? Cause the high point's in the southwest, that's the problem.
So by putting the building there, 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever you want the parking lot to be. There's gonna be huge walls on the east side. So,
Doesn't have to be 2%. You know, you can go a little steeper than that to make that up, and you can also cut where the building's at. You're not held by the existing grade. Obviously, you have to tie back into the west, but you're proposing a wall there. Does that show a retaining wall on the east side?
no,
It's strictly because of the building location?
yeah, cause we can go down with the driveway at, I think, like 8.5% or so, and then. Have reasonable grades within the parking lot to go down to access the truck dock.
So on concept 1. The issue with moving the driveway back to the top is that you are gonna just be driving across the top of that parking. That's the only issue. Cause you can get rid of those spaces, you got 23 to play with. If you got rid of the other 3 right there at the beginning, does that give you enough room to create your drive through? I mean, it solves all the problems, right?
Not the wall.
The landscape problem.
Not the walls and the access to the east, problems. it would still create issues for future accessibility, cross access between the parcels that planning is wanting.
Is there a wall there?
There is, on this concept, there is walls around the entire parking lot
Okay.
on northeast. So
So in the current concept, you don't have to have the walls, but in concept two, you do.
the current site layout, we have a wall along the west side because we're cutting down. And that is brought around the entire parking area on the west side. But we do not have, we have a small landscape wall next to the truck dock area, but apart from that, we did not need any more retaining walls along the east side, which will that cross access in the future to Woodcrest.
I mean, you'd have a whole parking lot to grade down on. I don't, how tall is your wall?
I have to look at the top wall, bottom wall. I think it's 9 feet max on the west side.
I'm saying on the east. On the east.
On the east, it's like 2 to 3 feet tall. It's only by the truck dock area.
You got 140 feet to grade down. Maybe we go a little steeper than 2%.
Well, the driveway is going down to 8.5%. I think it's graded more than 2%, but I don't know, if we're gonna be grading the parking lot out at like 5 to 6% or something like that, that's not really gonna be practical.
Not steep at all. Why is that unpractical?
Cody, do you wanna help me?
I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, again, it's just this is the simplicity of my mind, and I'm not an engineer. So I don't understand how we currently in the current project don't need a retaining wall up there where the street's supposed to go and the entrance is supposed to be. But then once we put it back there in the next concept, we have to have it.
So I'll
Can you help me understand? I mean,
so up in that corner.
Yeah.
Where the dock is.
Yeah.
Today, if you think about a dock where it goes down.
Yeah.
If I understand it correctly, that would go down. And so they wouldn't need the retaining wall there to protect it. Am I saying that right? So it's a grade down. So they could put their truck in the dock door versus if they move it, then they have to have a different way of supporting that. For traffic, if I'm trying to explain this in layman's terms, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I understand it, right?
So I guess for me, I'm rephrasing this more. When you look at this, the driveway can go down and be 8.5% because it's longitudinal, right? Once we start turning and going into the drive aisles, that's the cross slope. I personally don't design more than 2% cross slope. So you see how the slope goes different directions.
That's not engineering practice though. That's your philosophy.
Cody, what cross slope do you grade at?
We try to keep it at 2%.
2% cross slope is ADA, so your whole site is ADA compliant, is what you're saying?
No, it's not. The cross slope is what I'm aiming towards. When you're turning, because you don't, like, we have a box truck. They would not be wanting to turn on.
I agree. 2%'s the crown of the road. The main highway. Surely they encounter stuff a little more aggressive than 2%. And I'm not saying that that's a bad practice, but I think there's room here and for some reason we're not wanting to explore it. And it's room to get rid of every single waiver request and still have a functional site.
Basically, to present that to you, we would have to go through another whole site concept, present that to you all and make it feasible. So, I mean, I don't have that currently to show everything about what the grades would be and everything. But
So, I mean, I think we're trying to help you and work with you. I mean, I think that we would invite another concept You know, I don't know that.
think he's saying they don't wanna do.
Well, that's unfortunate. Because I really feel like we're really trying to flex here and be helpful.
I'm
Well,
not saying that we can't.
But there's some non-negotiables here, right? We gotta have the driveway across from the others. So that's not negotiable. So let's figure this out, right? We gotta have that. We got some landscape requirements and some parking requirements we gotta meet. So I think what you're hearing from us is we're trying to help with that. And I'm even willing to flex a little bit more on the parking spaces if it helps you get there. And even a foot or two on landscaping if it helps you get there. But without a doubt, we've said that that drive has to match up with Monroe, right? To me, that's one of the biggest issues that I'm not sure I can negotiate on.
I'm not sure they have an issue with that. They want to do that.
I do want
Now, again, the issue with this one is just the 50% parking up front, right? But the landscape and everything's.
the commission can table this. If you want them to look at other options and come back. Instead of just approve or deny, it's,
that doesn't, I don't think that helps though, right? Because if they come back, then they would have a different waiver request potentially. So, I mean, I feel,
I don't.
I mean, I feel like our choice is neither, either yes or no.
I was just thinking.
I mean, but even,
No, you have that off.
but if we table it, I don't know that it helps anybody. Because when they come back, they may have a different piece of information and we're just seeing it again.
Right.
So it's,
Just giving them an opportunity to try some of the layouts and showing you what the grades were. It's all I was.
we need to table it to do that, I guess is my question. Because if I'm in their shoes, then they're like, well, and is there hope, I guess, or, you know, if we're not gonna approve it, then we should tell them in my mind that we're not gonna approve it.
I'm just.
Tell them what they need to do before they come back.
Just letting you know, because labeling an item isn't often brought up, so.
I agree, but I agree with you, but I think tabling with telling them what they expect. Otherwise,
I mean, do the other commissioners have a recommendation or thought?
I like the idea of keeping it there at the road on the east side, not just for the separate, not just so it lines up with Monroe, but so it's easier for the next building that's gonna come into the east, they can share that driveway. And we had probably noticed our traffic issue. And problems we put out there on 102, the worst that's gonna get.
okay.
Well, you gotta tell them.
Feet of green space in front of it.
We need to tell them, so.
I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to. Joy, what's your contention to that man right there, that one about?
And then the like.
We're granting a waiver for parking when it doesn't happen here.
That waiver for parking, I mean. I don't know that. We're granting a waiver for parking, but I don't know what the impact of granting the waiver or not granting the waiver is. I can only yell so loud.
Don't hear a thing.
Thanks for you don't
I
have to
can't
yell
hear right now.
in your face. I guess I'm asking the other commissioners the contention of that plan right there, other than, okay, it's more than 50% parking in the front. And you're losing 2 feet of green space or landscaping space. I mean, if they put a building between there, then there's no request for waiver, because then they have a screening and a building in front. Right, that's what you said, they had to have screening and a building in front,
Yeah, it has,
have more than 50% parking.
yeah, has to have a building in front of it and screening with additional berms. Things of that nature.
So the current layout, the proposition.
I can't hear any.
Yeah, I hear it. I can't hear either.
Shut it down.
We can pass the mic.
Just take it out of the folder. Just take it out of the folder.
There you go.
So the current project that you had, all right, one we're looking at, which is what we prefer to do. You reduce your parking spaces to 63, which means the ones up front, the 18, the 10, and a few more spaces. You will reduce that. So that gets us closer to the 50%, but not quite there. And we get to maintain our landscaping and maybe even add a little landscaping. A little more, sure. Yeah. Even though we don't have the building up front. So
Waiver, I mean,
that's an option for us as a planning commission, is just to increase landscaping in front. The only challenge is we know you have to have a waiver for percent parking. Is that the way I understand it? That's
so you're asking if they can reduce the parking in the front to be less than 50%.
saying it's gonna remain more than 50%.
I think the question is if they reduce it by 23, what's the percentage go to?
So it's at 70% right now. Let me do some math.
18 stalls, right?
There's 18 right there up front, and then you need another 5. I think we need 63, which is technically how many spaces they should have based on their warehouse retail space.
The lots to the side lot, that would be on the west of the entrance, includes the handicap spaces, the ones on the other side. Part of that 5 or 6 spots, there's 20 in those lot, plus whatever's left of the 5, so you have about 21. So you have a third of the required spaces in the side of the lot, everything else is in front of the facade. So getting rid of 18, you're still only having 21 lots on the west side, or 21 spaces on to the west, the side of the building.
That was my quick math, was 65%, so are you there?
To get rid of that front row right there.
65%.
65%.
Instead of 70 something.
It doesn't take it down. It's just, it doesn't take the percentage down very much.
But 65 is a lot closer to 50 than,
Is, and it does create more green space, which would allow for more landscaping, which would be more of a buffer.
So are you recommending we take that down to 60%, but get rid of that front row, but add more landscaping in return? Since there's no building there, instead of a building, we have more landscaping, more screening.
I mean, I'm trying to find a compromise to keep Monroe as.
specifically 65%, not 60%, because it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Wise.
I'm just offering another option.
So what I do recommend is that what she was saying about it tabling, it could be tabled. And they can either come back at the next PC meeting and go, we fixed it, I no longer need this waiver. Or they come back and say, we need the waiver the exact same way that it is. Or they have to submit a whole new waiver request. Because regardless, I feel like you guys should still see updated concepts to the updated, what you guys are requesting, is I guess what I'm saying. Or you could just outright deny it and they could come back for another waiver.
They could also approve a certain percentage of allowing of the waiver by allowing a certain percentage of the parking spaces.
So right now, the way that it's shown is 70% of the parking is in the front.
And I know you said no to this, am I being loud enough? Again, concept 1, how much strain would that put on the developer to get rid of those parking spaces and go back to the east side entrance?
It'll get a lot of money for retaining walls, along that whole piece. And because we can't grade into the floodway and flood zone, those walls are gonna have to be tall.
Step one solves your problem if you can get that driveway there. You're at the 50% thing. You can get rid of some parking spaces up front, maintain the landscaping without a waiver. If I'm doing all,
That'd be nice to see, right?
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that gets rid of all your waivers, and if that's a possibility and the grade can be manageable, I mean, it feels like that's the solution, and you get everything you want, you get the backup you want, you get the turnaround you, or you don't. The landscaping that we want, you know. But again, I'm just one.
So I'm gonna start summarizing a little bit, not that I want to run out in the rain, but. I don't think we have enough members tonight that would approve the waiver as requested. If you'd like me to take the vote, I would certainly, I'm open to doing that. So that leaves us with two choices, and the good thing is with us trying to work with you, we can do this. We could table it. And then, of course, you would come back with a new concept based on some feedback. Or we could just flat deny it, and you're gonna come back that way as well. So I think those are really down to the two choices, really three, but if you say take a vote, I'm happy to entertain a motion from the group and we'll take a vote. If it if it gets denied, you're gonna come back anyway, most likely. But I think a willingness to work with us and some of the feedback helps. So I'm open to whatever you would prefer.
I think it'd be more advantageous on our side if we tabled it.
It shows your willingness to work. How's that? So you want to table it?
It's John, I motion.
Hold on a second. Any other questions that we didn't answer that may help with any guidance?
Just want to say that, I mean, the new easements and right-of-way acquisition were not in the initial concepts, which could make it difficult, but we are open to trying to meet the Title 15 standards as best as we can, any waivers. So.
With that, I would entertain a motion to table the request for the waivers this evening.
It's John, I motion to table request for development 2504 to make more adjustments to meet Title 15.
Second.
Motion with a second from Joey. And is there anyone that's opposed? Thank you, guys. Our next meeting is scheduled for 9/2. If you can't be here, please let us know. Mayor Bill, did you want to share the news, the meeting next week? Since it didn't make our agenda.
Yeah, so at our last council meeting last week, there was about an hour and 20 minute discussion about water and sewer capacity, which is an update from when I talked to you all. It's on the City Center YouTube channel if you want to watch it. See what we discussed. It was a very good discussion. Mayor Tharp actually indicated that we might get a little bit more capacity than they originally applied for. But the council had questions. We did ask someone from the water and sewer to come to the meeting. They did not show. So they've asked for a special council meeting with the Water and Sewer Commission. It's going to happen next Tuesday here at 6 p.m. It is a public meeting. If y'all want to come, you're welcome. They just want some clarifications on things we're going to do in the future. And let's get some feedback. And I got a whole list of questions that I've asked our staff and the council to let me know so we have a good early meeting. In direction going forward and figure it out if we're going to stay with Decatur, if we're going to NACA, we don't know. The discussion the city council with water and sewer commission need to have though. So, it'll be next Tuesday, 6.
There is a tech review meeting on the 21st. And anything else from staff? Anything else from the commissioners? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, too.
Still got it in my house, it's bone dry. It rains all the way, it rains around me, but not on.